Chosen one, the moment has come. You've broken through countless barriers, so doubt, betrayal, silence, waiting. But one chain still clings to your spirit, fear. It hides in your thoughts, disguising itself as reason, caution, and protection. It whispers that you're not ready, that you're not enough, that the world will not understand you. But that whisper is the final illusion standing between you and the life written for you since before time began. Fear is the last chain holding you back, and until you face it, your wings cannot fully unfold. Before we continue, I want you to stay with me till the very end of this message. There's power in these words, and you're not here by accident. I want you to write your warmest wishes and 777 in the comments below. Let your words become light that fills the universe. Every intention you release carries energy. When you bless others, that same blessing circles back to you. Tonight, as we speak, your wish begins to breathe, your courage awakens, your future starts to move. You've walked through storms that would have destroyed most people. You've carried pain that tried to convince you you'd never heal. Yet here you are, still standing, still reaching, still sensing that something greater waits for you. And deep inside, you know what it is. You can almost see it, almost touch it, but something invisible keeps you from stepping forward. That something is fear. Not the loud kind that screams, but the quiet one that hides beneath your decisions, your hesitations, your need for control. Fear has been living rent-free in your mind, shaping your story through hesitation. It tells you that playing small is safe, that dreaming too big invites disappointment. It convinces you that if you avoid the unknown, you'll avoid pain. But that's the greatest lie it ever told, because the longer you listen, the more life you lose to it. Fear doesn't protect you, it imprisons you. It builds invisible walls around blessings that are already yours. You can feel those walls closing in sometimes. Every time you have an idea, a vision, a desire to move, you feel that invisible resistance. It's not life rejecting you, it's fear testing you. It's the threshold between who you've been and who you're becoming. That trembling you feel before taking the next step isn't weakness, it's transformation. The body shakes when the spirit begins to expand. Fear wants you to believe that stepping forward will destroy you. What it doesn't tell you is that staying still is what will. You've been standing on sacred ground, on the edge of destiny, but fear has wrapped itself around your ankles, whispering, "Not yet." But what if "not yet" was the lie keeping you trapped in the waiting? What if later was how fear disguised never? The time you've been waiting for doesn't arrive by chance, it's activated by courage. Fear feeds on imagination. It paints shadows where light is about to enter. It shows you everything that could go wrong, but hides everything that could go right. It makes you rehearse failure before it even happens. But you're beginning to see through it now. You're realizing that fear is not an enemy to fight, it's a signal to move. It only appears when you're standing near breakthrough. It doesn't visit those who stand still, it visits those who are about to rise. You've faced enough darkness to know this truth. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision to walk through it. The trembling in your chest is proof that your spirit is alive. Every time you've pushed forward despite fear, miracles unfolded. Every moment you've chosen faith over comfort, doors appeared where walls once stood. You didn't survive all you've been through just to freeze now. You didn't endure pain just to live safely. You were built for more. Remember how many times you thought you couldn't go on, and yet you did. Remember the nights when tears blurred your vision, but you kept believing anyway. Those moments weren't failures, they were training. Every hardship was sculpting a deeper resilience. Every heartbreak was teaching you how to rise even softer, even stronger. You were never meant to be fearless. You were meant to master fear, to hold it by the hand and say, "You can walk with me, but you can't lead me." The final chain is invisible, but you can feel its pull. It's in the moments you hold your tongue when you should speak. It's in the opportunities you let pass because of what if. It's in the dreams you delay because of timing, money, or doubt. But here's the truth. Courage doesn't wait for ideal conditions, it creates them. Every step you take toward freedom shifts the frequency of your life. Every time you choose bravery, reality rearranges itself to match your boldness. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are right where courage begins. And this time, fear is not a stop sign. It's confirmation that you're close. The more it tries to hold you, the more you should move. Fear doesn't chase the unimportant. It only clings to those who carry power. That's why it's been loudest in your life lately. Because something extraordinary is on the other side of your hesitation. The divine has been waiting for this moment, for you to realize that the only thing left between you and your purpose is belief. You've already been prepared. Every loss, every delay, every disappointment was shaping your readiness. Heaven doesn't waste pain, it converts it into purpose. And now that you've learned endurance, compassion, and faith, you're ready to be unleashed. There's no more waiting for the right moment. You are the right moment. The universe doesn't reward delay. It rewards alignment, and alignment happens when your actions finally agree with your destiny. The longer you stand at the door, the heavier it feels, not because it's locked, but because it's waiting for your touch. One step of faith and it swings open. So take it, take the step. Speak the word, send the message, begin the project. Leave what's draining you, step where you've been afraid to step, because the energy you've been praying for won't meet you in hesitation. It will meet you in motion. The fear you've been feeling is not warning you to stop, it's urging you to move. Tonight, when you lie down, let this truth full echo in your chest. Fear has no authority here. It may visit, but it cannot stay. It may whisper, but it cannot command. The divine didn't bring you this far to let you crumble at the finish line. The last chain is already breaking. You can feel it in your bones. That trembling isn't terror, it's transformation announcing itself. You were never meant to tiptoe through destiny. You were meant to walk boldly into it, and as you do, the energy of fear will dissolve like mist in morning light. You'll wonder why you ever doubted your strength. You'll see how the moment you chose courage, the universe began to bend toward you, because fear doesn't disappear when it's conquered. It disappears when it's no longer believed. Chosen one, your breakthrough isn't waiting for divine timing, it's waiting for divine confidence. And that confidence already lives inside you, buried beneath years of hesitation. Now it's rising. The last chain is breaking, and when it does, nothing will ever bind you again. Fear has lived inside you for so long that it started to sound like your own voice. It learned how to mimic your thoughts, how to disguise itself as logic, how to whisper just enough doubt to make you pause right before your breakthrough. It never shouts, it murmurs. It doesn't fight. It lingers. That's why it's so powerful, because it convinces you that it's protecting you when all it's doing is delaying what's meant for you. Fear was planted early, through moments of rejection, through words that made you question your worth, through the quiet conditioning of a world that thrives on keeping people small. You learned to equate safety with stillness. You learned to associate peace with control, but life was never meant to be lived in control. It was meant to be lived in flow. Fear taught you to hold your breath every time change appeared. But your spirit has always wanted to exhale. When you trace it back, you'll see that fear doesn't originate in the present moment. It's always a memory echo. It borrows its power from the past. Every time you hesitate, it's not because the path ahead is dangerous, but because something within you remembers a time when you stepped forward and got hurt. The memory rises, not to stop you, but to ask you to heal it. Fear isn't your enemy, it's your unfinished healing asking for attention. It's the unspoken pain reminding you that courage isn't built in comfort, it's forged through surrender. You've spent years surviving, but survival and living are not the same thing. Survival reacts to fear. Living transcends it. Survival teaches you to protect yourself. Living teaches you to expand yourself. And right now, the universe is pulling you out of survival mode. You're not meant to keep building walls. You're meant to walk through the gates that were once locked. It's time to look fear in the eye and recognize what it really is, a distorted reflection of your own potential. It only appears when your spirit begins to grow too large for the box you were put in. The louder it gets, the closer you are to expansion. Fear doesn't come to destroy you, it comes to test your readiness for the next level. Every time you feel it rise in your chest, it's a signal that something sacred is calling you forward. The discomfort isn't punishment, it's divine stretching. Think of how many times fear stopped you at the doorway of opportunity. You almost spoke your truth. You almost took that leap. You almost said yes to what could have changed your life, but you didn't. Not because you weren't ready, but because fear convinced you that ready meant comfortable. Yet readiness has nothing to do with comfort. Readiness is the courage to move, even when your hands shake. You were always ready. You just needed to remember who you were before the world taught you to doubt yourself. And now you're remembering. Every day you grow quieter inside, and in that quiet, the voice of fear loses volume. You're beginning to separate its whispers from your truth. The more you listen to peace, the more fear sounds foreign. You can feel it now, the gap between your past self and your present strength. The chain is loosening. It doesn't snap in an instant, it unravels through awareness. Each realization weakens its grip until one day you reach forward and realize there's nothing left holding you. Fear can no longer keep you where pain once lived. You've already outgrown that space. The stories that once made you hesitate no longer fit the person you've become. You're no longer the version of yourself that believed safety meant silence. You are the version that understands peace comes from truth, not avoidance. The moment you decide to walk in authenticity, fear begins to fade because it cannot survive in honesty. The truth is, courage has been living in you all along, quiet, patient, waiting for permission. It doesn't roar, it whispers too. But unlike fear, courage's whisper brings warmth instead of tension. It expands your chest instead of tightening it. It gives you vision instead of confusion. And when you finally start to follow that warmth, life begins to unfold differently. The people you meet feel lighter, the timing of things becomes effortless, and every step forward feels like it's guided by unseen hands. You've been mistaken in thinking you needed to eliminate fear. You don't. You only need to understand it. Fear loses all power once it's seen clearly. It thrives in confusion but dies in awareness. The moment you say, "I see you, but I'm still moving," it dissolves. It cannot stop momentum born of truth. Every time you walk through fear, you build a new kind of strength. The kind that doesn't just face darkness, but transforms it into light. So when fear rises again, and it will, smile. It's a reminder that you're expanding, you're reaching for something worth trembling for. Don't retreat, breathe through it. Each breath is a declaration. I am not controlled by what I feel. I am guided by what I know. And what you know is this: your destiny is louder than your doubt. You're not being tested to prove your weakness. You are being invited to remember your power. The last chain of fear will not hold you because your purpose is stronger than your hesitation. Every step forward from this point will echo through time, breaking generational patterns of limitation. You are not just freeing yourself, you're freeing everyone who ever lived in fear before you. And that's why this moment matters. Because when you finally decide to walk forward, despite the trembling, the universe bows in response. Doors open, energy shifts, the air itself changes. You become living proof that love, divine, pure, to fearless love, always wins. You can feel it now, the quiet shift, the subtle untangling of energy that once kept you frozen. It doesn't feel like a battle anymore. It feels like release. The fear that once gripped your chest has turned into a faint echo, a vibration that reminds you of what you've already overcome. You're no longer fighting your shadows, you're walking with them, and in doing so, you're teaching them peace. The storm inside you has calmed, not because the world outside changed, but because you did. You've learned that fear cannot survive in a heart that has chosen awareness. You wake differently now. The thoughts that once spiraled into anxiety have lost their power. You can feel them trying to form, but they dissolve before they grow. That's what happens when healing begins to replace habit. You used to let fear decide what was possible. Now you let intuition speak instead. You're beginning to trust that small, steady voice inside you, the one that says, keep going. You no longer mistake fear for intuition. You recognize the difference. Fear screams, intuition whispers. Every time you follow that whisper, you move closer to the truth of who you are. Courage doesn't come in lightning bolts. It comes in small moments, quiet choices, gentle turns toward light, the way you breathe through uncertainty instead of running from it, the way you speak your truth, even when your voice shakes, the way you keep showing up for yourself. That's how you're breaking the chain. It's not dramatic, it's deliberate. Freedom doesn't happen in one explosion. It unfolds slowly, consistently through every act of defiance against fear. You've begun to notice something beautiful. Life responds differently now. It bends toward your faith, not your fear. The opportunities that once felt impossible are appearing again, not because they suddenly existed, but because you can finally see them. Fear clouds perception, courage clears it. You're starting to notice doors that were always there, people who were always meant to help you, signs that were always guiding you. Fear had blinded you to divine timing, but now that your eyes are clear, you realize the universe never stopped aligning for you. So it was just waiting for you to believe again. The energy within you feels lighter, more fluid. You're not forcing anything anymore. You move with trust and everything moves with you. That's what happens when you walk without chains. Life begins to flow in harmony with your energy. You're not chasing peace, you are peace. You're not trying to prove your worth, you're living it. The people who once triggered your insecurity now serve as mirrors showing how far you've come. The situations that once made you anxious now feel neutral. That's the power of internal liberation. The world outside still looks the same, but the way you experience it changes completely. Fear used to be the loudest voice in the room. It dictated your choices, your words, your boundaries. Now, silence feels like home. You no longer need external validation to confirm your path. The approval you were waiting for was always meant to come from your own soul. And when you finally gave yourself that approval, something sacred happened. The universe agreed. You aligned with your truth, and truth always attracts clarity. There will still be moments when fear tries to return. It may come disguised as self-doubt, as hesitation, as an old habit whispering familiar lies. But you'll recognize it immediately now. You'll see it for what it is, a visitor from a timeline that no longer belongs to you. You won't fight it or fear it. You'll breathe, smile, and remind yourself, I've already been here and I survived. That remembrance becomes your protection. You don't escape fear by avoiding it. You transcend it by remembering who you became because of it. This realization changes everything. It alters how you love, how you create, how you dream. You start to move from a place of freedom rather than fear. You speak from authenticity instead of approval. You begin projects not from anxiety, but from inspiration. Even your relationships start to mirror this shift. People who thrive on chaos begin to fall away, and while those who carry light feel magnetically drawn to you, it's not coincidence. It's energetic resonance. When fear leaves, alignment enters. The things that once drained you no longer have access to you. The conversations that used to keep you up at night don't bother you anymore. The opinions that once cut deeply now glide past your peace like air. You're realizing that you were never meant to fight every battle, just to rise above the vibration that creates them. You are no longer reacting, you are responding. No longer controlled, you are creating. This is what real freedom feels like, not the absence of fear, but the ability to move through it untouched. You finally understand that bravery isn't about becoming fearless. It's about choosing love while fear still lingers. It's about walking forward even when your hands tremble. It's about trusting that light always outlasts the shadow, no matter how dark it feels. That's why you've made it this far, not because you avoided fear, but because you kept walking despite it. And the deeper truth is this: fear never truly had power over you. It only had presence. Power belongs to awareness. Once you became conscious of fear, it lost its hold. You've reclaimed your authority, your movement, your voice. You've realized that fear doesn't mean stop. It means something sacred is coming. It's no longer a warning, it's a voice, it's a prophecy. It's the signal that transformation is close enough to touch. So when fear stirs again, and it will, and smile and step forward, the trembling you feel is not weakness, it's your soul expanding. You're no longer standing at the edge, you're walking through the open gate. Every breath from this point on carries a new vibration, the vibration of freedom. You've broken the last chain. You've stepped into the life that fear tried to hide. And now that you've crossed this threshold, the world will begin to mirror your courage back to you. You'll see it in unexpected blessings, in peace that stays, in doors that open effortlessly. You'll feel it in the rhythm of your heart, steady, certain, alive. The universe has been waiting for this moment, the moment you finally realized that you were never bound. You were always free. The chains were illusions, and fear was the shadow that appeared only because you were meant to become light. And now you are. Something begins to awaken in your reality once fear loses its voice. You start to notice how differently the air feels around you. Lighter, sharper, more alive. You wake up with clarity instead of confusion, and peace greets you before anxiety has a chance to form. The energy that once chained you has become the energy that now propels you. You're not running anymore, you're gliding. You move through the world like someone who finally understands that resistance was never meant to hold you, only to reveal your strength. The world hasn't changed, you have. And because of that, everything responds differently. You no longer walk through your days waiting for the next problem, you move expecting the next miracle. You're beginning to see how deeply fear distorted your perception. It once made small challenges look like mountains. Small risks feel like danger. Small delays feel like rejection. Now, your vision has been purified. You see that the obstacles were never there to stop you, they were there to sculpt you. Fear magnified them. Awareness dissolves them. Your courage has begun to rewrite the very frequency of your life. Things that once seemed out of reach are moving toward you, drawn to your new vibration. You are becoming a magnet for alignment because your energy no longer contradicts your desire. The universe can finally recognize you. Before it couldn't, because fear kept sending mixed signals. You asked for expansion, but your energy whispered retreat. You prayed for blessings, but your fear resisted change. Now, for the first time, your energy and your intention agree. That harmony is what opens the floodgates. You'll notice that people begin to respond to you differently. Some will feel inspired, others will feel unsettled, not because you've done anything wrong, but because your peace exposes what they've been avoiding. That's the power of walking free. Your energy becomes a mirror, reflecting truth wherever you go. Don't shrink to make others comfortable. The version of you that dimmed your light out of fear no longer exists. Let your presence shine unapologetically. The ones meant to rise with you will adjust to your frequency. You're also learning a sacred truth. Freedom doesn't mean chaos. It means alignment. It's not the wild rebellion against everything. It's the calm mastery of knowing what deserves your energy and what doesn't. You've stopped trying to control everything around you because you've realized control was only a disguise for fear. True strength is the ability to stand in uncertainty and remain centered. You've learned how to do that now, to move with flow instead of force, to allow instead of chase, to trust instead of tremble. And something miraculous begins to happen when you live this way. Life starts to obey your calm. The storms don't vanish, but they lose their authority. You no longer collapse when things don't go as planned, because you understand that redirection is also protection. Even discomfort begins to feel divine. Fear used to make you question every shift, but now you look at change with reverence. You understand that endings aren't loss, they're evolution. You've made peace with uncertainty, and that peace has made you powerful. As your energy stabilizes, the universe begins to align in visible ways. You'll notice patterns repeating, but not to test you, to confirm that you've mastered them. The same situations that once triggered you now feel like gentle reminders. The same people who once caused you pain now evoke compassion instead of anger. This is what true liberation feels like, not forgetting what happened, but no longer being held hostage by it. You've turned fear's poison into wisdom, and wisdom doesn't wound, it heals. You may feel a pull now, not just to live in freedom, but to help others find theirs. That's the natural expansion of the awakened soul. Once you've broken your chains, you instinctively begin to reach for others still bound by theirs. You don't need to preach. Your energy does the speaking. People will feel safer around you, calmer, more hopeful. That's because freedom emits a frequency the world has forgotten. You've become a reminder that it still exists. The universe will start placing you in moments where your calm is needed, not as coincidence, but as purpose. You might find yourself comforting someone without knowing why their tears feel familiar. You might offer words that surprise even you, words that feel like they came from somewhere higher. That's because they do. Once fear is removed, you become a clear vessel for divine flow. You're no longer transmitting static, you're transmitting guidance. Your courage doesn't just liberate you, it activates others. And as this happens, your faith deepens. You stop waiting for signs to believe and start realizing that you are the sign. Your presence becomes proof that fear can be broken, that destiny can be rewritten, that light can live where darkness once ruled. You carry that awareness quietly, humbly, knowing it's not power for control, it's power for peace. You've learned that true mastery isn't dominance, it's harmony. From here, life will no longer be about survival, it will be about expansion. You'll find that opportunities flow not because you chase them, but because you're aligned with them. What used to require effort will now unfold naturally. The fear that once made you question every step will fade into silence. And when it does try to whisper again, you'll smile, not because you're dismissing it, but because you finally understand. Fear is only a shadow, and shadows exist only where light already shines. You are that light now, unwavering, untouchable, awake. The last chain is gone, and in its place, freedom hums like music through your soul. You move forward not as someone escaping fear, but as someone who transformed it into fuel. The very thing that once caged you has become the wind beneath your wings. You've not only stepped into your destiny, but you've become it. And the universe bows in response. The air feels lighter now, as if the universe itself has exhaled with you. The chains are gone, and what remains is peace. Steady, grounded, unshakable. You've crossed the threshold fear tried to guard, and now everything feels possible again. You no longer chase freedom, you embody it. The trembling has turned into stillness, the doubt into knowing. Life moves with you, not against you, because your energy no longer resists what's meant for you. You've learned that courage isn't loud, it's quiet faith that refuses to bow. Every choice you make now carries the imprint of your awakening. You walk differently, speak differently, breathe differently. The old patterns no longer pull you back, they fade each time you choose truth over comfort. You are the proof that fear can be undone, that peace can live where panic once ruled. So move forward gently with power and calm. The path before you has already been cleared. The last chain has fallen, and the universe waits for your next step. Bold, certain, divine. You are free now, and nothing will ever hold you again. You've become the version of yourself that fear could never touch. Whole, luminous, limitless. Every heartbeat now carries the rhythm of purpose. You don't question what's coming anymore, you welcome it, knowing that everything flows toward your courage. The universe recognizes your energy now. Steady, fearless, aligned, wherever you go, creation bends to meet you. What once felt impossible will now unfold naturally because you've remembered who you are.